Alright, well, welcome into the new year, guys. This is 2007. This video is going to be basically the first 2 weeks into January, and this is kind of like a part 2 off of, catching up, as we're already kind of mid-January as I'm sitting here right now. And it could be, a few more days before it actually makes it to YouTube. But yeah, I just want to catch you up on what's been going on in this January. Now, I'll address some of the little things over there, but as part of the intro, if you remember in one of my last videos there, I was in the process of trying to figure out a really good studio setup so I can do these a lot better. But in a nutshell, that is not working out the way I was hoping. It's been a bumpy negotiation process, if you will, and I'm losing faith that that's going to actually work out. So it's going to push me to be more creative in how I do these videos. Some of my options that I'm thinking about doing is doing them outside. Go find a now it's like spring's coming up, right? Go to like the lake or a creek or something. Go somewhere and just put something nice in the background. But again, it's going to be more to my learning curve because now I have to learn to shoot outdoors and so just bear with me on that. Ideally I want to get a studio, and I really hope that certainly something in the next couple odd months or so, few months at the top end of it, that I will have a nice office studio where I can really hammer this out. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a lot of videos that I want to do. They keep coming to me, and I'm just I got a lot of work to do. But I look forward to it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. A lot of things to get out of here and into over there. Alright, so the chemistry in my system has been actually remarkably flatlined. Like nothing, it's all good, right? Like nothing has even really changed, except for maybe the pH. Now I'm having a really hard time getting, I think, consistent readings, if you will. I'm comparing the color of the chemicals to the color on a piece of paper, and obviously any lighting is going to throw off how that looks. But if I think what's happening is my pH is slowly dropping, like just a little bit. Not enough to make it black and white, but just enough for me to think that maybe something is improving that way. Now, based off of the results that I'm reading, I want to say my system was sitting at about 7.8. Again, I'm just guesstimating here, but I think it maybe drop into like a 7.6, 7.7, or something like that. It's going in the right direction. And the goal that I want my system to be sitting at is about 6.8. That'll give me enough little bit of wiggle room. The plants are going to be happier in that. The bacteria and the fish, well, the fish will be fine. Actually, the fish will be better, because the fish that I want to get in the future will all prefer a high 6 range anyway. So realistically, the only thing that probably won't like it as much or won't be as optimal will be the bacteria in the system. But I've had plenty of time for the bacteria to get established. I mean, I know I'm still cycling. It's still technically maturing. There's still many months to go on that. But, I'm not concerned. Like, even if my pH was at 6, yeah, the bacteria they'll still survive. They'll still do their thing. They're just not quite as happy. Alright, obviously with all that looking good, I've been thinking, like, how can I challenge my tanks more? How can I put more life into it? Having 2 goldfish, 3 shrimp, it's like, alright, let's put more things in the tank. So what I did is I went out, and pardon me as I read this kind of off of a sheet, but I got one Bristol nose pleco, and its job is essentially to eat all the algae on the outside of the tanks. When I add a little bit of seaweed extract into the system, I get a little bit of an algae bloom. So what I like about that is it's food for many of the creatures. The shrimp are eating it, so I do have some control of that. And I think I may even be able to use it as a rough gauge for when to put the seaweed extract into my system. Not too much, not too little, but that's something I'm still working on. So I also added 4 long-finned leopard Daniels and 4 long-fin zebra Daniels. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that one right. So yeah, I mean, I've basically got 8 little fishies in there, and they like all fishes, I guess. Getting accustomed to a new environment, they first huddle around in a corner there, and And in fact, the corner they preferred was the corner that I had my overflow valve into, and I've so far had to make 2 rescue missions to take a couple of them out. However, in my observations, even though it's not impossible, they don't seem to be hanging out around that area anymore. They've taken to the tank. I'm really happy to see that they're not timid. They're just chilling all over the place, all levels. You know, like before they were just all up at the top end of the tank. You know, so now they're just everywhere. So even though I think they're like $3, maybe even $4 a fish, you know, they're not particularly expensive. But when I think about that, I might even be able to put 100 of those things in there. Like I could put that. I think I could do that. It's still a $300 fish investment, and so I'm going to slowly over time add them. But I think for now I'm just going to leave them at 8 and see what they do. Alright, so far I gotta admit, the seeds have been my arch nemesis of this project. It's been the thing that, for whatever reason, isn't really going quite as well as I was hoping. And it's the one that I figured would be very easy, you know, like it doesn't have to be perfect. I don't need like a 90-95% success ratio on that, but I've dismally failed at that. You know, virtually most of my onions failed, all my spinach has failed, even to date. I think they're bad seeds. The onion seeds are good. I think I'm going to have to wait until the spring when I can get new seeds for spinach. Spinach was actually one of the main things I was really wanting to get into this system. But as you can see here, my broccoli plant and my kale plant seem to be doing just fine. You know, they've had some time to establish their roots, and now they're, you know, every couple odd days or so, I'm really noticing a difference in their growth rates. So I'm very pleased with that. And you know, in the end, actually, maybe we shouldn't be too concerned about the spinach not working, because, you know, these plants might be a little big. I've never grown a broccoli plant before. I know kale can get pretty big, but if the kale, I think I'll just be eating as I, you know, once it gets to a certain size, I'll just be trimming and eating it. The broccoli, I don't know. Well, that's just a shot in the dark. We'll see what happens with that one. I don't know how big, but we'll see. Alright, so my froglet plants are doing rather well, almost maybe too well. They're growing like weeds, as you'd expect them to. However, I do have a concern where I don't have enough space to really put them safely. So what I need to do is I need to solve or figure out a way to block off, because they float on the top, I need to block off the top parts of the tank to prevent them from going to places in the tank that I don't want them to. So while I was out and about running around looking for solutions to barricade my plants in certain areas of the tank so they don't float around too much, I stumbled upon these rocks that have all these inspirational words that I thought was a great addition. So I figured, you know, why not? They were mine. So I got them, and as you can see, I think they fit the theme of the tank rather well.
Alright, so I'm going to leave this video with a couple of minutes of fish ambient video, just for your pleasure. Although I hate to leave on a bad note, but the next video probably won't have some good news in it. And it may not be done or ready for a couple weeks or so to a month. And I hope that that bad news will have some sort of answer when I get there as well. So fingers crossed, here's hoping, and peace out. See you later.